the Moon card, we got the Devil card, and we also have the Ten of Wands. Collective, somebody could have been very toxic, but other people couldn't see it. And this kind of makes me think like somebody's like a narcissist. You know, I don't like to just throw that word around, but from these cards, it very much could look like that. Somebody was very toxic, and other people couldn't see how toxic a person was. Maybe they were being toxic to you, but the side that everybody else get from this person is not like that. It doesn't come off that way, right? But that's how somebody was to you. Maybe that was your experience with whoever this person is. People are now experiencing that. So let's say you felt like somebody were toxic, or you felt like somebody was in the wrong, and other people kind of made you think you were like a SHIT star. This is like you, like, you know, somebody's doing something to you that maybe other people do not see. Like, let's say somebody's being slick towards you, sarcastic towards you, or just doing things that maybe other people are not catching on to, right? They're doing these things to you, you know, and some of y'all, this can be a situation where maybe this person has betrayed you multiple times, but you could have kept these situations hidden. Maybe you didn't want other people to know about these situations, you know. Maybe, you know, you could, like, for instance, everybody think your significant other is a great person, or they thought this person that you were dating was so great, but that's because you was keeping hidden the things that they could have truly been doing. Or this could be another person, right? It's almost like other people believed that you were like a problem, especially if you started standing up for yourself. You started speaking up for yourself. Some of y'all, that could be an issue. Maybe you guys are speaking up for yourself more, you know, and saying how you feel, or just things like that. And that may be an issue for a person as well. But it's just kind of giving a situation like that where, like, you're coming off as toxic, you're coming off as crazy to other people because they don't see what you're going through or what's happening to you because of another person. And now these people are on the other end of experiencing this. So there may be a person that may even tell you, like, oh, or even possibly apologize, or say something or mention something to you where it's almost like you're going to realize, oh, so they're treating you this way. And then you're going to be able to be like, oh, yeah, they did this to me. That's what I was saying, or da-da-da-da. So there's something like that playing out. For some of this could be in the situation where, like, somebody could have moved on. Maybe they're dating someone new. And you know what this is giving? This is kind of giving like off of Married to Medicine and Quad. Quad was dating Dr. Greg. She was married to him for 10 years. When she broke up with Dr. Greg, everybody, I won't say everybody, but people made it seem as if she was being a problem. She was being an issue, you know. And they all kind of ended up siding with Dr. Greg because of their dislike for Quad. And they tried to diminish what he did to her. I believe he put his hands on her, or, you know, something like that. And people kind of diminished it, like as if it wasn't this big deal, as if they thought it wasn't true, or it didn't happen, or he didn't treat her the way that she said he treated her. Just for him to get a new wife, she was under the influence of alcohol, and told one of Quad's friends that the things that she was saying about him was right. So it took another person experiencing that side of him for other people to be like, okay. And even then, they still kind of discredit her, even after they had proof from another person. If you guys are going through anything like that, somebody is committed to being against you because they are against you. I don't know who needs to hear that, but if you're going through a situation where, like, people know about a situation, they know how you was treated, and they even see proof that you were treated a certain way, they were against you to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So just a side note for some of you guys, if you're experiencing something like that. But this is the situation. It's almost like somebody's finally realizing, or people are realizing, that you were telling the truth about a situation. People try to make you say you was just being petty. You always starting drama. You starting issues. You doing this. You doing that. Collective. I see here. But the problem was that people couldn't see how somebody was acting towards you and what was being done to you. People didn't see it. You know, they couldn't see, because this is somebody where they have a really good character as far as acting skills. Maybe this person, you know, has a reputation in other people's eyes, or people see them a certain way, but really behind closed doors, they're completely different from outside of what they portray themselves to be to these individuals. So people didn't believe you. So and you know what this is given? This is the nice guy, where people are realizing the nice guy is not so nice, or the nice girl is not so nice. This is what this is giving. I don't know if y'all know about the whole nice guy, nice girl rhetoric, where like they come off as nice, but really reality they far from it, just kind of like a. So this may be somebody where they are perceived as like this nice girl, nice guy, whole time they double hockey sticks on wheels, you know what I'm saying? So there's something like this playing out where somebody is being either treated the same way, or they're witnessing this person treat others the same way. And this is somebody that possibly could have ignored what you were saying, possibly could have even, you know, tried to make whatever you were saying out to be not a big deal, or even try to make you seem like you were a big deal. This is like the victim. I guess you could say victim blaming, I guess you could say, but this is the situation where it's almost like the victim is the one that's being persecuted and all of that whole time. You were the one that this was done to. So there's something like that definitely could have played out for some of you guys, where a person is seeing you and they're like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this side of this person that the collective been telling me about them, or collective been saying this, saying that, and it took me to see this side. Some of y'all, this can be a situation where somebody could have heard about what you went through with a person, and I don't know why I'm getting this, but for some of y'all, maybe you had a kid by somebody, and now somebody else is having a kid by them, and now they're seeing what you were saying. So something like that is playing out for some. But somebody's with a person that you used to date, and they now see why you left, or they now see why something didn't work out, and da-da-da-da. And you know what this is giving? If you have to deal with somebody's family, you have to deal with somebody's family, somebody else is not dealing with it. You know what this is giving, y'all? This is giving Bambi, what's his name? Bambi, I can't even think of his name for whatever reason. Bambi, Scrappy, and Mama D. Now that Bambi and Scrappy been pulling up with, Bambi been putting up with Scrappy mama for all them years. Now she's finally divorced him and she's moved on. She's still having to deal with his mom, but now the other people are now dealing with his mother. So there's something like this here where it's almost like you could have had to deal with a situation with somebody's family. Maybe their family was very rude or toxic, or, you know, just things like that. Now they're having to deal with them things now that you're out of the picture. Now I just kind of moved on to the next person. So something like that is definitely playing out here, where somebody's now realized, like, okay, this person is not crazy. They were actually telling the truth when it came to this situation. I discredited them. I didn't want to believe them. And then I got with this person. Now I'm going through the same thing that they were saying. Somebody may even be embarrassed for some of you guys. Like, if there's a situation like that going on, this is one of the situations where somebody could have talked about you a lot, or just said a lot of negative things about you, and now that they're in the same situation, they kind of have to stick with it so they can fool other people, but in reality, they're going through behind closed doors. So people may not even know how toxic somebody is behind closed doors. Like, they're not actually seeing how toxic that they are behind closed doors. They're not seeing it, but that's what's basically going on. Is basically somebody's dealing with something on a greater scale than what you have to deal with, and they're not showcasing this or expressing this because they don't want other people to be right about a situation. The other people say, oh, you need to break up with them, you need to leave them. Or if other people are like, oh, you know, this person never did that to you, they never treated you this way, they're not being treated that way, and they don't want you to be right about a situation, because you being right about a situation shows how, you know, where they stand at as an individual, right? Like, maybe this person doesn't have any integrity. Maybe this person, you know, it's almost like them admitting to whatever this is. It's like, okay, so now that you're admitting this, it's not like a bad thing to admit this. It's a situation, but it's almost like somebody don't want to be wrong. They want to be right, and they're willing to kind of suffer in a situation just to kind of be right about something that you were right about all along, okay? And is eventually going to start to showcase, or is starting to showcase in their life. So something like this is playing out where, like, somebody's trying to hide something, but it's starting to showcase. It's starting to seep through, because it could be showing up on their face, how they looking very exhausted, tired. Maybe this person just haven't been, you know, in the best energy, best, you know, mood. There's something we're starting to showcase. Maybe, you know what this is giving? This is like disrespect happening behind closed doors. So now somebody's starting to be so open about it that it's happening in front of other people. And that's exactly what happened to Dr. Greg on Mirror to Medicine. The season has been off, so you know, I'm just thinking back on like this situation. Just made me think back on that episode where Sweet Tea, I wouldn't say she tried to make the situation seem as all sweet and glitter, but she definitely came in, kind of made it seem like she had a prize, and then he been disrespecting her behind closed doors, and she be kind of hiding it because it showed just how toxic their relationship is. But she put on that it's like a really good marriage, and then when you actually start to see how he actually treats her behind closed doors when she's not in front of the group of people, yeah. And then he was around a group of people. He was so mad, he started going off on his own wife, not realizing that he was around other people. So it started to he broke character. He was so used to playing his character or playing his role that he got so angry he forgot to stay in character. Now people are looking at him like, whoa, where's this other side coming from? Something like that is playing outward, like somebody's breaking their character. People are seeing a different side of them than what they usually may see. And there's just something like this going on here, because he did that to his wife. So there may be something like this going on. Definitely some of y'all, this is somebody that's dating somebody that you used to date, and now they're dealing with the situation. That's about a good 40% of y'all, okay? Not for everyone. For some of y'all, this is just a situation where people defended a person that definitely could have hurt you or could have caused you some type of harm in some type of way, could have treated you poorly. This could even be at a workplace where like everybody sided with this person for treating you a certain way. Now this person think that they can treat everybody else that way, or you know, it's almost like because people did because a person or people done whatever they did, it didn't do nothing but backfire on them, because now these individuals are like, okay, I can do this to you. Okay, so that's basically going on here, cuz. So you are kind of being vindicated in a situation, or you are getting your justice served in a situation, because the people knew that you were going through something toxic and they overlooked whatever you were going through and still was buddy with whoever this person is, or like they still kept in contact, kept close to this person, whatever that looks like. They're now receiving the repercussions of that, and that could show up in forms in many ways, you know what I'm saying? Because for some of you, this is outside of love. This is just a person where it's like, it's not love. Maybe they could have been, you know, trying to be passive aggressive, microaggressive, maybe even possibly trying to bully you or just do things to you that doesn't necessarily, not warranted, right? And then people kind of glossed over, like they did not know what was going on, or they kind of, you know, downplay whatever this, almost kind of make it sound like you were, people trying to make it sound like you were being a problem, like, oh, here come Collective complaining about this. Well, yeah, you're complaining because nothing has been done. This is that situation where like almost like victim blaming. Literally, this is what this is giving y'all, where it's almost like you were wronged, you're complaining about why you were wrong, and other people are upset because they want you to hush. They want you to stop talking about it because they want to keep the peace, or they want to keep things how it is until it's bothering them, until it's, you know, interrupting their peace. And that's what's happened. People could want it to be quiet about whatever this is until it started to bother them, until it started to sink and seep into where they're at. Now they're over here like, dang, Collective was right. Collective said this months ago, or Collective, I remember Collective said this about this person. I went and dated them anyways, or Collective had a kid with this person. I went and had a kid with them. Now I'm going through the stuff Collective went through, and it could have been prevented. This is one of those situations where somebody could have learned through you. Somebody chose to learn when they could have learned from you. They didn't have to experience none of this, or these people did not have to experience none of this. They could have used you as face value. They could have used you as an example for some of you guys. Okay, you know what? I see how they treated Collective, or I see how they treat people, you know, around their proximity. Let me not really associate with this person. Let me not date this person. Let me not talk to this person. Let me remove myself. Or if they could do it to Collective, they may just do it to me. You know, this is just kind of that situation where it's almost like now other people are going through whatever this is now. So you guys are definitely being vindicated in this situation, all right? I just also want to say peace, love, and light, beautiful, bigger to you all, Collective. If you are going through a situation like this where you could have been dating someone, now that person's dating this person, and even possibly had a kid with this person, they're going through what you went through with this person after they was in the forefront to see all of this. Now they're experiencing the same-ish, or even worse, you know what I'm saying, Collective. And this is outside of love. Then people are now realizing that they actually should have probably had your back more than actually make you feel the way you feel. And this can even be a situation where nobody even, it's just so crazy, Collective. I can go on and on, Collective. you know, and just pull more cards and keep pulling. But this is the situation going on here. So if you are in a situation or have been in a situation like that where somebody could have been treating you poorly, doing something wrong to you, and you mentioned this to other people or voiced this and people still was cool with that person. And I'm not saying you can't be cool with whoever you want to be cool with, but this is one of those situations where it's like they basically didn't care about how this person affected you or what has happened. They necessarily didn't care. They were still kind of associating with this person, still being around this person. Because in Married to Medicine, all the women were still friends with him, or they were still bringing him around, bringing his wife around, even though they knew he put his hands on Quad. They still brought him around. They still did all of that until situations kind of blew up and backfired in their face, until they started getting into it with him, until they started getting into it with his wife. You know what I'm saying? They didn't necessarily care until they started to have issues with them themselves. Now they all of a sudden care. Now they all of a sudden see where she's coming from. Because at the end, it's like, oh, I see where Quad is coming from. But they couldn't see in the very beginning when she was expressing what happened. They act like they didn't believe her, and a lot of y'all, somebody has that type of image where it's given the nice guy, the nice girl. They got this image and trying to tell you that whoever this person is, woo 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 woo, collective, okay? Like literally this type of energy. And it's almost like it's so shocking how, you know, the perception that people kind of gave you of them is kind of crazy. Because like, yeah, y'all don't see what's going on, or you don't know this person like I do, but I'm experiencing the bad parts. Y'all are experiencing what's after the bad parts, which is what's left over to be good. You know what I'm saying? So something like that definitely played out, and yeah, y'all being vindicated. So until next time, bye.